Check me out.
So I'm gonna put two ideas or concepts together, topics, together, and blend them together. And let's see how well I do this, right? It's no script, you know what I mean? So when we have these conversations about reparations and ending the Fed, ending the government, and creating new systems and freeing ourselves from oppression and like debt slavery and the perils of economics and things like that, right? How often do we think about being equipped and ready to actually live without arbitration? Do you know how to grow food? Do you have community that one person's a gardener, one person's a motherfucking weapons yielder, they got a bunch of guns and shit, they know how to use them and shit. If you have a motherfucker that knows how to make medicines, and a motherfucker that knows how to knows how to sew, make clothes. Do you have a network to motherfuckers that know how to frame and build houses? You see what I'm saying? Do you have a network of sustainability outside of this matrix? Most people don't, because we live in this motherfucking matrix, and we've been living in this matrix for so long that we've never really thought about it. But everybody wants to hoot and holler about ending the government, ending the Fed, ending these arbitrations. But what alternatives do you have? Are you even ready for that reality? Most people aren't. I'm not. You see what I'm saying? Like, completely, no. Just knowledge is power, but it's not everything, right? There's still tangibles, and there's still things that you need in hand, right? And so how do you contribute into your captivity? And how can you contribute to your freedom, right? How can you demand freedom when you can't free yourself? When, even if you were to be free, you would ask for the arbitration to make your life easier. That's ultimately what it is, right? Because like people, end up on hard times and they go get government assistance. You see what I'm saying? So right there, you're contributing to the arbitration continuing, right? And so ultimately, if everything was to be fair and equitable, eventually it wouldn't be. At some point, some people would figure out how to recalcify and concentrate the wealth and consolidate the wealth amongst themselves. Cantillon all over again, right? It's a vicious, very vicious motherfucking cycle. And so, are you equipped? Are you ready for things to flip topsy-turvy? Since you want freedom, right? It's the same thing when we talk about reparations, and why many people say we can't have it, and why many people say it's not going to happen. Because ultimately, for us to get our justice, somebody is going to have to be on the other side of that. Meaning that, there has to be an undercast. There has to be a bottom cast. There just has to be. And we've been the bottom cast because of just the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow and not receiving justice and not having things redistributed. And so because of this, and this have been the case for so long, it creates a chasm of wealth, and you get the racial wealth gap. especially when we're not able to participate in a debt-based economy, going from a money-based economy, an actual economy with gold, and then Nixon saying fuck that, and now we're here, right? If somebody has to be the bottom caste, right? Somebody has to be the blacks, right? And so if we get reparations, we become the whites of the system, right? And that's ultimately why it is such a fight to get what is owed to us, because somebody's going to have to be on the losing end of that. And the people who are not on the losing side of it now, because they haven't given us our justice, do you think they're going to decide, oh, I want to live like Negroes for the next 400 years? Yeah, sign me up. Because justice and right versus wrong. Yeah, definitely. A lot of times I feel like, because we want what we want, because we're, in certain precarious situations, we want things to be better. But oftentimes we don't realize what would go into that being the case. And so from freedom to reparations, there would have to be a moment of truth, and shit's gonna get really real, right? And so if you don't have a way to, if you already within this matrix cannot sustain yourself outside of it, like with it being here, now is a great time to practice living with it not being here, as opposed to saying, yeah, let's end it all and then we'll figure it out. No, the fuck we will not. Most people won't, right? Most people will freak the fuck out, and for a long time. And with reparations, somebody's gonna have to be the niggas. And you think the caves is just gonna sign up? The same caves that did the compromise of 1877, the same caves that said fuck Reconstruction after Lincoln was assassinated? You mean the same caves that put us in Jim Crow? You mean the same caves that created the 14th Amendment for convict leasing? You mean the same caves that redlined us? You mean the same caves that didn't include us in the New Deal? You mean the same caves who said you're 3/5 of a human so that we can be properly represented in voting? So the next time you say what you're wanting, especially like in those senses, think about what it would really take to have that. Because I promise you, more than likely, you're not ready.
So young and I'm black and my hat's real low. You don't like my lyrics, you can press fast forward. Fuck yeah. Take these dudes to